Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Brightworks and another match of Beyond All Reason, where today we are dropping into a match that actually, this map kind of reminded me of Fortnite. I don't know if I've just been seeing a bunch of media about Fortnite all of a sudden recently, but for whatever reason, this one, I don't know, it kind of was a weird coincidence because I just happened to see a whole bunch of Fortnite and then looked at this map and I was like, you know what? It'd be kind of a cool map, wouldn't it? Any Fortnite enjoyers out there? I don't imagine there's a lot of Fortnite and Beyond All Reason overlap. I just play a stupid amount of games, so I do happen to stay in the know, if you know what I mean. Today, we're going to be taking a look at Jade Empress version 1.41. To be specific here, a map that I absolutely adore. And specifically, there's a couple of versions of this map. In general, there's just, well, two versions. There's this one, and then there's a amped up version, which essentially takes all these metal extractors and cranks them up through the roof so that they're all worth quite a bit more. But one of the unique things about Jade Empress is that every one of these metal extractors is actually worth 1 metal per second. It means that individual metal extractors are actually very... It's not that they're worthless, it's that they're worth a whole lot less. And, well, for one thing, it means that expanding is super expensive because you have to put down 50 metal, and it doesn't pay itself back for just about a minute, which is super duper expensive. But there are tons and tons of metal extractors, as you can see all over the map here, so you can eventually get up to those crazy mid and late game economies just off of metal extractors alone, but you don't tend to really get there until you kind of are in that T2 era. You can't really do it on T1 except for some of the frontliners here. But today, spawning here, I think this is the 4th butt I've thrown at you today. I'll throw no more butts at you for now. Today, spawning is our Blue Armada Commander. It would have been a little bit nicer to introduce, I guess, from the rear here, kind of like that. But anyway, spawning here as the Blue Armada Commander, it's going to be none other than Citrus Lemon. Citrus Lemon. Taking a long time on the intro here because this, yeah, is also a gigantic map. It's a map with a huge rest distance. It means that getting anything across the map is going to take a little while for most of these lanes, so we have a little bit of time to relax and enjoy the early game a little more than I feel like in most games that I cast we really get to. Legion also enabled in this map, which is cool to see, or this match rather. I'm always a big fan. Whenever I see Legion in the game, I sort of consider it a real match. I feel like as Legion becomes better and better finished, as, you know, the units are polished up, and especially as Navy is nearing completion. Well, I shouldn't say that. I don't know exactly how far along they are, but I know that it's in active development, and so that means that progress is underway. But as Legion is nearing its turning point, where it becomes much more of a serious concept, rather less of a concept and more of a serious prospect, it does feel like we need to start including it in a lot more matches. Maybe higher level matches, maybe ranked matches need to start being played. I played in a couple of matches that actually were ranked, and they did have Legion enabled in them, because essentially any map that doesn't primarily feature Navy, it's still pretty well balanced with Legion in it. Of course, Legion still has its quirks, but yeah, most people have figured out Legion stuff by now, or if you haven't, then you definitely should try. It's very fun to look at, like our red commander here spawning on the front lines. It's going to be a mismatched socks. Wow, if that isn't the most relatable of names I've seen in a good long while. Mismatched socks. I think I've got about 30 pairs of socks. I don't know if a single one of them is a matching pair. Gonna be spawning here is a beautiful, bright red Legion Commander. Legion is typically green, but I gotta say, they rock the red paint job really quite well. You can see the little anti-air missile radar detector thing in the backpack right there, as well as the plasma core. Legion actually uses slightly different technology to power everything. Effectively condensed matter plasma, the same stuff that is hurled out of the weapons from the thugs and the maces and whatnot and what have you. Generates an obscene amount of heat, and so it powers all their heat ray weapons. A very elegant solution for a otherwise super crude technology. It was invented like 200, 300 years before this war even started. Heading out on the field right here. I'm making all this up, by the way. I hope nobody takes this. I hope everybody takes this with a grain of salt. They've decided not to give me any lore, so I'm going to make up my own. That's how I pretty much operate on a daily basis, too. Moving forward, building these very sexy Legion metal extractors, providing a little bit less metal, which does, I mean, it burns on a map where these metal extractors are already producing so little metal, but it also does mean you don't have to worry so much about energy, and that can be a benefit, right? If you're producing energy, and the energy, the metal extractors are bad, but the E conversion ratio is still the same, it means that maybe converting that energy in, or that, well, yeah, that energy into metal via energy converters is not a terrible idea here. Kind of an interesting strategy. Legion plays a little bit differently in that way. I don't think these tanks can attack from underwater. Oh, this is going to get really risky here for the red commander, actually. I don't think those Alaris can actually fire while they're submerged. They're also going to be going up against, it looks like Decurion spam here out of our Lavender hero. This is going to be Krankhoft. Krankhoft? Our 3.8 OS Lavender commander showing us what they've got. Are we about ready to start the frontline battle? Just barely. My goodness. I wasn't lying when I said that there's a giant rush distance. You can see the ticks are out, of course, but they can't cross the water. It means that grunts and pawns and goblins are going to be the primary three. The trio, the trifecta that's going to be primarily moving out on the map at this point. There are a couple of key metal extractors in the middle here. These are what you vie for control over. I love when maps do this. They put a reason to control the middle rather than just kind of leaving it as a... Like, this could have easily just been a big pool of water and it would have been kind of worthless. Basically would have just encouraged both sides to build a bunch of pork on the sides. Porcupine defenses. Instead, we actually have a reason to move into the middle of the map, and I think I like that quite a lot. We'll go ahead and switch on our UI here at this point. Enjoying the views of this map. This map is also on a weird kilter. Like, it feels like this map should basically be looked at like this. The OP version of this map, the one that was made for the 50k event, is skewed perfectly parallel. It kind of looks like a brain. This one is skewed on a diagonal. It makes it very, very odd to see. Now we also have some naval play going on. Mata Tat Tat, the Cyan commander, going for a little bit of a naval coastal defense right here. So we do have, again, 1.0 metal extractors in the water. Super expensive to build these many metal extractors. It means the Navy economy, which already scales super slowly. Oh, and we've got a Legion commander to boot. Oh, no. Oh, that really sucks. For Navy, you basically play Cortex units, except you play with Legion. Legion mexes, that is. Yeah, that makes it pretty... That sucks to lose out on that much metal right here. The energy is nice. I won't lie, the energy is pretty nice, especially if you can get some of those naval energy converters up and running. But yeah, losing out on the metal early, especially early on, can be super annoying. Some HLT, floating HLTs coming up here, the coral static defenses. Trying to put those in position here so they can try and, well, lock down a little bit of this midsection. They're not terrible, and they do actually have quite long range. In fact, I wonder if their range on this is longer than the Destroyer. 630 metal for that. Range rather, versus 700 range, so it is pretty close. Corals, maybe a little bit of a underappreciated unit. Might be. Commander right here being shot at will take quite significant damage, but he does get off the D-gun, and so the Decurion will be put down. The Cacophony right here, heavy land-air Gatling gun turret, will eventually be able to thwart that commander moving forward, though. 34% HP is pretty uncomfy for that commander. It's only a couple of seconds of sustained fire from one of those Gatling turrets, so we do have to be pretty careful. This is, I mean, effectively the Legion heavy laser tower, right? So this warrants respect. The Cacophony sits in a weird place, though. It is not necessarily a heavy laser tower. It's more like a... I almost want to call it like a medium. It's like a 2.5 tower. If the LLT is 1 and the HLT is 3, it's like a 2.5. It kind of sits nicely in the middle, but has limited anti-air capabilities as well. Does it make it worth it? I don't think so. I would much prefer the drone carriers, when you can afford them. And my goodness, we're ready for T2. Citrus Lemon has gone all the way up to T2. We've hardly seen any fights this game already. As, yeah, pretty much everybody excited to just build a bunch of static defenses here. But nicely done by Mismatch Socks, getting at least the metal extractor. That's 3.2 metal per second, going back to the economy right here. And we are looking to expand elsewhere as well. So slow to get out on the map. You can really go for a 3 or even a 4 constructor expansion on this map. There's that many metal extractors that you can work on that many things all at the same time, and you arrive at the front line pretty much at the same time you would on like something like Glitters, for instance, or Smolders, any of those big lane maps where you also have a bunch of metal extractors to claim. Love the hold right here from the Pink Commander, though. I mean, not like there's really been much of a contest for it. The Destroyers are out and running, or Destroyer singular. Should probably start firing away. I don't even know if it knows that there's a... Yeah, there's actually no idea that there's a coral sitting over here on the water. And the submarines are quite nice, too, right? I mean, we sort of have overwater and underwater defenses set up right here in the form of those Orca subs with a decent amount of HP. They can hold their own. You wouldn't want to sit here and fight these Orcas under the firepower of these laser towers, especially with the offset angle on them. Yeah, it does mean that they're going to be able to get a little bit of flanking bonus as well. It means those submarines are going to do a little flanking bonus as well. Wouldn't actually mind seeing these spread out even further to try and get a little bit more of that going. But we don't want to fight the Destroyer. That's the one thing we don't want to engage on here. Ooh. This is a weird battle. Technically, these can outrange the Destroyer if they're firing out into the distance, and the Destroyer doesn't have the assistance here of the Skater, which does have huge underwater range, vision range. It's a little bit of a tricky fight. Geothermal coming up here for the Red Commander. We also have the Tank Commander moving in on the northern side. Also a Legion Commander getting into the water here. Super awkward to see these Legion Commanders stepping into the water, but I mean, it's better than nothing. There is a submarine out here as well. Legion Commanders actually fire torpedoes, so back to good old-fashioned, I mean, the oldest strategy in warfare history. Ramming. Any three-body problem, fans? I finished reading that book the exact same day that they announced the television series on Netflix. It felt like I was being called out the exact same way the characters were in the books. Like, I don't know, it was a very bizarre moment in my life where all of a sudden all these things aligned perfectly, and I wondered if there was like, somebody was messing with me. It felt like someone was pranking me because I finished that book and set it down and then went back home and realized that afternoon they had announced the TV series. It was a good one. It was good sci-fi. Really off the rails. Super, super off the rails sci-fi, and I love that kind of stuff. I bet a lot of you do, too. If you're a real sci-fi nut and you enjoy that kind of thing, feel free to hit that subscribe button. Haha. Join the Brightworks community. We're all nerds around here. Lord of the Rings, Star Wars, Three-Body Problem. You name it, we're into it. Warhammer, I'm sure there's an audience for Warhammer. You'll find your spot. You can find it over at the Discord. The link is down below in the description section. There we go. We plugged all we need to plug. I guess it's a good opportunity to say there's also a bunch of tournaments to sign up for. There's a Bar Pro League, and there's also a bunch of events that are being hosted. I believe the most recent event, I actually got a DM about this. There's an event being held. I'm going to pull up the invitation here. There's an event being held on October 25th, 5 p.m. to 2 a.m. GMT. Going to be held by the Creed clan, who's going to be hosting basically a giant modded map battle arena thing. Feel free to go check that out. Creed has been a clan that's been growing steadily, surely, but steadily over time, and I'm very excited to see what they've put together for us. I'll be either live streaming or recording a bunch of videos, or maybe just hanging out and playing, having fun. I do enjoy playing this game from time to time, believe it or not. Ladies and gentlemen, our first kills of the game. Aside from a couple of D-guns and, are we walling this? Okay, that's a bit odd. Aside from a couple of D-guns and whatnot, yeah, the first real engagement of this match. We are 11 minutes and 30 seconds into this game, and the question really becomes, what do you do with that big of a lead? Apparently the blue commander has decided that that lead all the way up into T2 buys you a gauntlet on the front line. Okay. It wouldn't have been my first choice. In fact, it wouldn't even have been on my list. T2 metal extractors, I mean, we just gotta go all in on these, right? You gotta put down one fusion reactor and pay for it with the T2 lab. Get everyone a T2, like get some T2 mexes, get everyone a T2, and then eat the T2 lab, go for a fusion, go for an E-converter, and then you just start, you know, going crazy with it. You can upgrade all your metal extractors, you can just scale the economy wildly too. E-converters and just E-conversion in general is so efficient on this map. It just, I mean, there's a million options for eco-rushing, and neither team really seems to be super invested in that. I will say I like what the Orange Commander's going for here. Loads of build power on the back of this constructor to get these T2 mexes up. I mean, again, these are 4 metal per second metal extractors. They're super inefficient. I'm busting out the calculator. I'm going to do it. 620 metal divided by 4 gives you 155 seconds before that bad boy's paid off. Yikes. Almost 3 minutes before each of these metal extractors pays itself off is awful. It's, I mean, it's almost worth building. It's almost just better to build fusion reactors. I feel like you could scale fusion reactors quicker. Every fusion reactor, say, comes up every 4 minutes and gives you 10 metal per second. Versus 3 minutes for an extra 3 metal per second. They do pay continuously, though, and you don't use them. I mean, they use a little bit of energy, but they don't, you don't have to use their additional resources they produce to your benefit. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and speed this up here. We're gonna do a 4x, because my goodness, this game is sunken into a lull right here. It looks like Navy has decided it's time to fight a little bit. We're just gonna be, I mean, pestering each other with the destroyers. These battles matter, but ultimately they're not gonna matter much if neither side loses any boats and they both repair up to full health. Okay, trigger is pulled here, though. We will jump on top of the coral. The frigate's actually jumping on top of the destroyers. Hey, okay. Loads of friendly fire damage. Not great target firing there either from Cyan. I think might have had the advantage there if the destroyers stayed in the fight and actually kept shelling away, but now all that wreckage is left on the pink side, and this battle has conclusively been decided here by the yellow commander. That's well in favor. Build power for patching up these ships is quite nice. That is super important, getting those ships back up and running. Build power, of course, is stationary and quite, well, weak. Doesn't have a lot of HP in that regard. Means that it can be pretty difficult to keep it in the fight for too long if it ever comes under fire, but as long as it doesn't, it's very, very nice to retreat to. Got one frigate down. Traded out for the coral. It's probably worth it, though, but man, yeah, all that metal being reclaimed right here is just not the end of the world. As long as the metal's going back to the pink commander, they don't really need to worry about it. We could even go for T2 at this point. We've got enough of an economy here We've got enough reclaim here, but there's no more metal extractors to grab. You just eat up all this metal, go for T2, and you've got enough destroyers here to just hold the stalemate. Yeah. T2 mechs is coming up all over the place. Do we have anything else going on in the Navy? We don't really. We have this big open, uncontested area on both sides, it looks like. The Green Commander's super hyper fixated on this point. For some reason, throwing submarines into the torpedo launchers. I don't understand. The northern side completely exposed. We are expanding, so that's quite good. The southern side also very exposed. We do have a T2 lab, by the way, coming up and running. Some decent eco-scaling in the fusion reactors as well back here, or the E-converters as well back here. And we do have a T2 lab, so at the very least those T2 underwater mexes are coming up. But again, those are only 1 metal per second too. It's not really fantastic. Oh my goodness. Static defenses to the maximum over here as we have a Persecutor firing blindly into the backs of a whole handful of Fiends. Lovely stuff. The Fiends wondering why on earth they're being shot at here. There's not an enemy in sight. Persecutor hiding in the corner, not trying to talk about it. And once again, we've settled into a nice lull in the match right here. Here we go. We got some fighters moving out. Okay. Thought we might be doing something here. Loads of bombers coming up right now for the Yellow Commander. We have those martyrs, the suicide drones. They drop off their payload and their wings. Yeah. Amputator set up over here, just to dump fire away into the distance, also being super pesky. The Inferno firing away with a barrage of napalm just to try and start whittling a lot of this stuff down.
Commander destroyed.
That's the Green Commander going down. My goodness, what a... How... Some odd plays going on here. Blue Commander trying to find some value with these boats. Sort of tired of lingering around right now. I think he's probably smelling blood in the water. T2 up and running for the Pink Commander, trying to get those T2 mexes up and running, but frankly speaking, you just go for T2 units and T1 economy scaling, and you're going to end up in a great position here. Now, he's sending the Buccaneer in a little bit aggressively. We'll pull that back in time. Okay, not bad. Not the end of the world. Build power will get to work repairing all these boats, of course, and that's super annoying. For the Pink Commander who has no build power, these boats won't be repaired nearly as quickly, but they are T2, so a little bit more sustainable. Still a basically even fight, as it were. Yeah, these build turrets have gotten a lot of value. In terms of HP repaired, they've gotten tons and tons of value. The Inferno has found some value too here. Just continuously barraging away into the distance. The Medusa heavy tank also firing away that hail of missiles. Making a pretty compulsive argument, a pretty aggressive argument, really, for not pushing into this tank. Can the Prometheus fire when they're underwater like this? I don't know. I don't know is the answer, and I don't know... I'm gonna find out. Looks like they have to pop up out of the water a little bit here. Tix also bundled up is kind of funny. Wow. Decurion melted in an instant, though. Prometheus doing a fantastic job. Resbots could get in there and eat up that 1,500 metal, and this is gonna look pretty good here for the Red Commander. Already on T2. Lavender is nowhere near T2. We do have that fusion scaling in the backline for blue, so that's quite nice to see as we get ready to round our way into T2. 20 minutes into this game. My goodness. Sheldon also harassing this front line, but there's also Fat Boys and Hounds to defend against it. Sheldon, of course, can harass and retreat, and that's kind of their primary superpower, but of course this army's fairly mobile too, and pretty durable. That's enough Fat Boys here that you could kind of just march. You'd probably lose 2 of them before they got within range of anything, but the following 2 would have tremendous effect. Rattlesnake doing a great job here as well. The planes overhead providing a bunch of vision right now that the Seafoam Green Commander has to worry about. The Buccaneers moving on the southern side, too. We got a nice bit of wind turbine economy up on the hillside here. Wouldn't mind seeing maybe some overcharge mexes. Just anything to get those mexes powered up a little bit. Yeah, we're going for fusion scaling in the water. Not super efficient, but on a map like this, it really doesn't matter. Any amount of eco-scaling is going to be wonderful for you. Krankenhaft. Or Krankhaft. Lavender Commander moving into position here to try and get some D-guns off. The Inferno, though. Sending out that long-range napalm and blasting apart the build power right here. Distracting the build power so that the pawn can get the kill. And the commander staying in position here to try and do the very best to shuttle this down. Radar what is it? Truck? Vehicle? In position to detect the commander, and well, the pawn will just stumble upon it too. Whoa, the missiles! I did not know that Medusa could actually change their targeting like that. That's super cool to see. That's actually really, really neat to see. That's something they've always needed, right? If they're going to be laser designated, then they should probably be able to change targets. I mean, I don't know. I feel like that makes a lot of sense. That does look pretty crazy. Thugs moving forward. Wow, they actually catch a handful of Starlights. That's super annoying. Starlight's meant to be the end-all, be-all, and here they're caught by basic T1 units. Commander has died. Don't even know where. Oh, there we go. Pink Commander has exploded right in the midst of the Pink Navy, too. We do have a battleship up and running, the Despot. Couple of those Buccaneers up and running here as well. Headed over from the Maroon Commander's got T2 up and going. That's a lot of metal available. If we get that metal up and running, I mean, that is a full T2 transition in the works. Where are our res subs? 8,000-ish, 7,500 metal on the C4 right now. More than enough for the Blue Commander to put it all into a T2 lab and a couple of T2 units and get very, very well set up in that way. We have the T2 lab coming up right here. It's just a matter of getting the metal off the field and into the back line. Commander, the only kind of reclaim is a little bit suspect, right? I mean, it's not going to reclaim super fast. It's not ultimately a lot of build power out there reclaiming the metal. Would have liked to see a couple more res subs. I mean, we could just start with 2 or 3, and that's going to be enough to jumpstart all this. It's just a matter of getting him into position. Oh, I like this play here, though. Yeah, catches the Despot off guard. Oh, that's a huge volley right there. Wonderful engagement from the Blue Commander. Catching the Despot while it's not paying attention, and that's going to be a beautiful trade. We even get a Buccaneer out of it. Wonderful stuff. That's what Navy is all about, is making the very most out of the very least. Despot, you really don't want to engage it if you can't engage it really strategically. Now it's going to be able to shoot away at a distance and charge. Yep. Would have been ideal to get that kill. Maybe it even would have been worth diving a little bit more aggressively for, but still, 23% on the Despot makes it much more cowardly to get engaged here. I do notice, by the way, a couple of jungle scuttles. Oh, those aren't scuttles at all. Oh, I apologize. Those are screwdrivers. Those are screwdrive bombs lurking in the grass right there. Look at that adorable little Legion face on him. Lurking in the shallow grasses, waiting to snap. The screwdrive bomb. What are these called again? Snappers. That's right. I wondered why the word snap was on my tongue. Alright, though. A nice, lovely push from some T2, T1 composition here from the Hot Pink Commander. Has decided this game has gone on long enough and would like to put it to an end eventually. Red Commander also realizing that that is the case and sends some pawns rushing forward here just to try and do as much damage as possible. Hornets up in the air to try and blast away at a bunch of this, as well as some of those Roughnecks trying to clean all this up. But ultimately, that is a lot of pawns moving forward. Fiends in position to intercept. We'll clean all this up. Oh, and the APM stalled just outside the base. Yikes. Alright. The Fiends would have cleaned all that up, but anyways, losing those pawns for nothing. Not the worst, not the best trade. Could have maybe sniped the E-converters or something like that. Hounds here finding a ton of value as well, just moving around and blasting whatever they can. Metal extractors, constructors, all sorts of stuff. It really is all in trouble, right? I mean, there's nothing you can kind of do against these without units. Fiend's gonna catch up to him eventually, and that'll be an end-all solution here. Ooh, can we get the T2 con? He really wants it. Not gonna get it, though. Are the Hounds good enough to kill the Fiend? No spread or anything like that. We're not really fighting the Fiend, so it will be eventually able to shuttle that down. Okay. Red units now moving towards the blue base. I'll say basically what happened here is the Red Commander made stuff, used it, and won. Yeah. I mean, what a mind-blowing strategy. I don't know if I've ever seen that in Beyond All Reason. Actually pretty impressive economy here from the Green Commander as well. Shulk's definitely familiar with that eco-scaling. The Blue Commander going for a looser form of eco-scaling, a much more focused version of eco-scaling, focused rather on building up some units, some air support, that sort of a thing. No air from the purple player, so we're sort of filling that role here, the Blue Commander is. Medium tanks, Janus, all sorts of stuff making it into the backline. Can we target down the E-converters here?
Commander,
juicy connection. That's, what, 20-ish metal down the drain right there if we fire? Oh, doesn't get it. Yikes. Gotta take those guaranteed hits whenever you can find them. One hero Starlight holding out against all odds. Beyond all reason, you might even say. T2 tanks right here running away from the Sheldon. They probably could just engage these Sheldon. It's a lot of those Gladiator tanks, yeah. They're running away at the moment, but actually, yeah, I mean, frankly, I think they probably... These are pretty fast, and they have pretty good range. I think they might be able to catch the Sheldon here. Red Commander doesn't really care. It was such a successful attack that there's not really any reason to push any further, you just go ahead and eco up. And we've already got triple fusion up and running, as well as the E-converters to boot. It's a wonderful economy right now for the red commanders. Just basically happy to use it. Use it and scale it. The green commander apparently continuing the aggression over here, has just been fighting the good fight against the tank commander this entire time. Sacrificing units, valiant heroes, dying in the depths. I'm pretty sure every one of these units that are dead on the field right here are green units that have just been thrown into these torpedo launchers.
Commander destroyed.
I mean, what a funny way of doing that, right?
Commander destroyed.
Commanders are falling all over the place. I don't even know where. Oh. Little bit of a martyr snipe over here on the lavender, or the Seafoam Green commander. Blue fighters coming out of the woodworks to try and shuttle this down. Not quite in time to save the commander, but the laboratory stays up and running. The APHIS stay up and running. All said and done, not the biggest hit ever. The AGO also up and running. How big is the explosion on this? It is. Oh, it ends at the E-converters. Yeah, that would hurt the APHIS pretty bad, right? That kills the E-converters. They chain into the APHIS, chain into the build power. Things would get nasty pretty quickly. There's also this one up on the hillside. Not nearly as dangerous, though. Mammoths firing away with that newly resounded heavy laser beam. A little bit of a sound rework on those. Sounding quite nice, if you ask me. Spy bots. Atomized. Bad boys making a valiant stand here against their heavily armored cousins. Both teams firing at each other, or trying to. Neither one really achieving too much. The push and pull of a slow, atrophied war. I do like the starlight balls that have continued to move in here. I would like to see basically rallying these in a big line. Just parade pushing with them. If you have enough of them in a line moving out like this, then effectively the ones behind will cover the ones up front. It can be very, very successful for keeping narrow choke points like this well protected. Air also could easily resolve that issue. Big old grunt versus pawn warfare. We've gone all the way up to T3 and back down to T1 now. This is effectively waste from the green commander, though. These are the key reinforcements from red, so it's a little bit of a different situation for each of these commanders. It's like byproduct from the green commander. It's the entire army of the red commander. Stellar Navy up and running here for the blue commander. Why did the T2 lab go down? Did we lose it? They certainly lost a lot on the front here. Loads of brimstones up and running. Despot battleship firing out into the distance as well. It's actually a pretty rough situation right now for the blue commander. And I mean, was this all necessary? What did we gain by contesting that, by failing to contest this area? 5 destroyers, you know, T2. Anything else? We win this. We didn't even really go for super aggressive eco expansion, just, you know, kind of building a bunch of constructors and tidal generators and all sorts of stuff. Tidal speed not great on this map either, so it's not a fantastic way of eco scaling. Fusions and advanced fusions going to be king still, but it is what it is. How is this not more built up either? 30 minutes into the game, the purple commander has been uncontested as far as I can tell in the Navy. We do have the fusions up and running, so that's quite nice. The economy is growing back here, which is cool to see. More and more constructors building more and more stuff all over the place. Yeah, we got a nice little back and forth rally set up over here. Still, though, we have yeah, nearly 200 metal per second, and we're not even really spending it. My goodness. Part of the reason why Beyond Horizon is hard is because when you get to this late game, there's so much to spend your metal on. And if you don't spend it, the odds are it's just going to go into T1 frontline waste. Demons out of the T3 laboratory are going to be more than enough to shuttle this down. Oh, fighters falling here. That's actually rough. Oh, you got to be so careful about this. I would love to see these move a little bit closer. I don't know if evil intent even notices that these fighters are going down, but this is actually great. Softening up the air wall like this means that, I mean, every air push after this is just going to be even more exciting, even more powerful. Yeah, it looks like Blue Commander realized, oh, yeah, maybe actually not. Yeah, I thought the Blue fighters were rallied. That's a little bit of a yikes. Oh no! Oh, this is a beautiful moment right here for the Pink Commander. I don't think realized how important that was. That all those fighters were sniped.
Commander has died.
It means his Air Force is significantly smaller. But we've bypassed basically the entire game. Yeah, to get up to T3. The Martyr actually coming out, making a showing. Okay. E-Converter's obviously the primary target. Fusion reactors should be a big target here too. Guess we're gonna go for neither. Oh, okay, there we go. E-Converter's pop. Build power goes down as well. Super annoying for the Orange Commander to replace. And also, of course, we scouted the T3 transition. E-Converters did pop over here, by the way, so those have been shut down. Means that the Seafoam Green Commander is interested in rebuilding. Mammoth's now going to reinforce this side so the Marauders can't run by anymore. AGO did explode. I mean, exactly as predicted. Shockwaves through the E-Converters here. Wow, we've gone all the way up to T2 and this Bastion still stands. I mean, at this point, I'm almost questioning Fatboy 116. Like, why don't we go into, you know, a Bastion? Why don't we go into, like, Eviscerators? Maybe even Chimera, just, like, anything. Hey, there we go. Yeah, we will. Look at that. We're going to go ahead and build one of those pop-up cluster plasma artilleries. And quickly, too. Wow, we saved all of our paycheck to build one of these things. We also have a Perdition charging up right here. That's kind of cool. The long-range anti... I don't even know what it is. It is the long-range napalm spitter. Fires a big globule of napalm out into the distance. Super powerful. Capital ship out and running. Pink Commander has gone all in. Wow. Alright. We've gone into a capital ship. A full Black Hydra. Where are we even going to send this to us? I mean, where does it go? The water is so small. You have one base to fight right here. Where does the capital ship go? Looks like Shulk's XZ is actually in no mood to play around any further. Has decided that the Eco Sim has gone on long enough and it is now time to start investing in a little bit higher tech. Oh, Martyr. Yeah, really struggling with the hillsides there. Yikes. I don't think a single one of those connected, not to mention all the other fighters that did go down from the anti-air. Need to spread out these Cargonet though. Only the front, like 3 or 4 are actually attacking. Once they're up on the hillside, they also, I mean, that is effectively spreading them out as well, so that works. On flat terrain, though, you can see that they're not really firing perfectly unless they all have targets on all sides. That's fantastic, though. Cutting right behind the enemy lines, all of a sudden this very soft front line here from the Orange Commander. Worth very, very little if the Cargonet can just bypass it all and move straight into the back line. Doing a wonderful job of catching a bunch of these reinforcing pink units, or retreating rather, pink units. Making very short work of them, and also meaning the front line is super, super exposed. Blue Commander can now move in with just regular T1 forces, and there's nothing here to hold it. Fiends and grunts. A tale as old as time. If these Cargonets would spread out, I'm pretty sure they can kill everything on the southern seaboard here. Even without spreading out, they're going to do numbers. Gunships up in the air. Those those Cargonet anti-air missiles are no joke. They're not the most powerful anti-air in the game by any measure, but they are certainly valuable. Wow. Goes to show once more that just the right pressure and just the right spot can have unbelievably powerful effects. Vanguards and Fat Boys and all other of Armada creation coming out to try and defend this. Loads of friendly fire. Cargonet here being killed largely by the Starlights. If they would just engage those Starlights, they could win against them. Starlights are pushing into the Cargonet, which isn't ideal. Ugh. It's sloppy. It's sloppy, but it gets the job done, and if that isn't the saying of the year, then I don't know what to tell you. Oh, a bunch of those gunships going down. You see them all clumped up right there? 3 or 4 gunships going down because they were all clumped up, so they all just died together to the anti-air missiles. Super annoying when that happens, too. What are we going to do about this? We don't really have time to build a bastion anymore. Chimeras aren't going to save you. Yeah, we're going to try and move the commander into position, but that's only a fix if you can manage to get the commander into position. Meanwhile, my goodness. How about 59,000 metal worth of naval units making its debut here today? Karganeth taking out the E-converters. Making their way towards the Aphis stack. Fusion reactor locked onto. Missiles are away. Karganeth unspread. D-guns away on one of them. One fusion reactor goes down, though. Second fusion reactor pops. Ooh, anti-air trying its best. Oh, we managed to kill the gunship. That is huge. Metal extractor will fall, and all of a sudden Karganeth has free reign to fire on that Aphis. Tried so hard to kill it. Eventually the drones, the little pesky drones, barely managed to get it. Phew! A close call if ever there was one for the yellow commander. Still, though, can't be super excited about the capital ship making its way inbound. You could say the same thing here, though, for the blue team, as the capital ship makes its way into their pond area. Obviously going to dominate that, but then, of course, everything else in that area as well. We have the res subs actually reclaiming a bunch of this, so that's kind of cool. Even if they can't directly build units to stop this, at the very least, they can send a bunch of that metal back towards the team. Maybe help the team build something to stop this. Shield generators might not be a bad idea at this point. As we look closer and closer into getting bombarded to death. Juggernaut here going up against the carries. We do have mismatched socks. Ooh, heading in. Oh, the Juggernaut smelled it. The Juggernaut smelled the commander there. Oh, we need to keep moving. No, 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 no. Oh, D-guns away and it kills the Juggernaut. Giant boom for that commander as the Juggernaut is vanquished. Ugh. 500 metal down the... or 500 energy for like 29,000 metal down the drain. 25,000 metal? I forget how much Juggernaut is. T-1 bombers flying overhead here, though. No anti-air defenses to speak of. The yellow commander was hurt pretty badly in that Karganeth run by. Loads of fighters went down, and now we've only got a handful of those T-1 left. There actually isn't any fighters for the Seafoam Green commander, so it's... I mean, this will be cleaned up, but... yeah. Rough for the orange commander. Actually enough to stray their rage. Because they no longer stay around in the game. Pink commander targeting the same dead base over and over again. Buys enough time for the blue commander to get a shield or two up and running. It's going to be enough to protect the major vitals here of the base. Meanwhile, the Juggernaut has had a field day blasting away at all this. Those big shotgun cannons, the closer it gets, the more damage it deals. And the res subs are not done eating yet either. They can still continue to pump out value for this team as more and more of this does explode, as more and more of this does go down. And those capital ships, I mean, what can you say about them? Virtually unlimited range as they reach out to shell away at literally anything. I mean, they can find targets you didn't even think of when they can see them. Phoenix is here being sent to try and kill the capital ship. There is anti-air, though. Nicely done. Capital ship a little bit lackluster with the targeting, but not the end of the world. We actually have a Olympus coming up and running. I've seen these used to counter capital ships before. I believe it's possible. We've got capital ships in the midsection of the map here now. My goodness. Well, the blue team has an overwhelming economic advantage simply from the Aphis scaling that they've got going on right here. 6 Aphis, 3-4 fusion up and running for the green commander, and we're looking into more. 3 triple Aphis and triple fusion for our blue commander. I believe we had some fusions over here. Yeah, some Aphis over here as well. The backline of the red team, not quite nearly as eco-skilled. And at this point in the game, it looks like that is ultimately what it's coming down to. Despots here, releasing an unrelenting hail of plasma. Plasma condensed matter. Wow. I mean, it's what you'd expect out of a 55,000 metal composition. Mono unit composition here. goes the base of the pink commander. Glad I caught that at the very last second. I heard the bombs drop and I knew a base was going up. It had to have been one of the red teams because, well, they're the only ones that have been getting bombed this entire match right here. Bombers fly overhead on the red base as well, finding the APHIS and deploying the warheads. There's only so many of these left, and with no fighter escort, the bombers are getting chipped away at here. Those T1 Legion fighters, not the greatest thing ever, but doing good work. Won't be enough though to save the red team, as down goes their other main production center right here. Virtually all of the economy falls right now for the red commanders. We have catapults up and running as well. The carries have been halted in their tracks. Bulwarks coming up, just safety bulwarks. But yeah, the blue teams ran away with this one at this point. Not a lot more the red team can do. The economies just aren't big enough. Looks like the capital ship did eventually go down to a bunch of submarines. That's quite nice. Yeah, a combination of despots and capital ships leaves you very exposed to submarines. So that's a good read right there from the pink commander. Strategically speaking, an excellent play, but economically speaking, this game has well and away been run away with here by the blue team. Impressive considering the red team initiated the aggression, but it was just a little bit of eco-scaling that eventually led into an advantage later on. And well, here we are, towards the end of this game now, where Asperger's man, the brown commander, one of 5 remaining commanders. We also have the yellow commander sitting idle over here. APHIS exploding as bombers come overhead, and demons and cargonets all fire away. Yeah, blue team losing sight of what exactly wins games right here. Commander eventually goes down though, so that's nice. Resign votes over and over and over here for the red team. Not ready to accept that they've been defeated. We don't even have enough energy for the Myrmidons. How sad is that? Fighters attacking Myrmidons because they've got the little drones on their platform. But I think this is what we're all waiting for. Down they go. The final red commander does vote.
Commander
And the blue team claims a hard-fought victory
destroyed.
in this matchup beyond all reason. My goodness. What a back and forth right there, with an overwhelming victory for the pink commander in the seas, and the red commander doing some wonderful aggression through here as well. An excellent response from the blue team, getting units out just in the nick of time to shut it down and make their little bit of a comeback. Thanks a ton for watching, folks. If you made it to the end of this marathon of a match, feel free to join the Brightworks. I would encourage you all, if you enjoyed this sort of thing, because clearly you do if you made it this far, yeah, I would definitely recommend you subscribe too, because we do put these casts out just about daily. And I hope to see you again in the very next match of Beyond All Reason. Peace out, everybody.